Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you lower control arm replacement on the front. This is a 2003 Honda Civic. Same for 2001 to 2005. We show you the driver's side, the passenger side is the same procedure. You'll need a new control arm from 1AAuto.com. And if you're going to replace one side, you might as well replace both. We do sell them as a pair. 12 to 20 millimeter sockets and wrenches with ratchets and extensions. 5 millimeter hex socket. Flat blade screwdriver, large size. Breaker bar or tire iron. Flex joint. Hammer, both a small, large, and a rubber mallet. Pry bar, locking and needle nose pliers. Jack and jack stands. Wire brush and penetrating oil, and we needed a reciprocating saw on ours because we ran into an issue with the stabilizer link. You may or may not need that for yours.
Remove the front wheel, held on by 4 19mm lug nuts. If you have a different style hubcap, you'll need to remove that, but just use a breaker bar or your tire iron and loosen the lug nuts while the tire is on the ground. Now raise and support the vehicle. Now remove the lug nuts the rest of the way and the wheel and tire. For this repair, you want to make sure that you have your vehicle level. You need to raise up the front of the vehicle and support both sides. And you can turn the wheel and your link is right here. And first thing we're going to do is just use a wire brush and some penetrating oil and try and clean off these threads as much as we can to make it easier to get it apart. A 14mm wrench. Put it on here and turn counterclockwise. And looks like this is already spinning, so 5mm hex socket.
Ideally at this point, the nut for the lower stabilizer link comes off and you can just separate the stabilizer link from the control arm. Ours was much more difficult and we ended up having to cut it off, and then we ended up replacing the whole stabilizer link. If you do that, we do sell the stabilizer link at 1AAuto as well.
Lower control arm is held on. There's a nut here, you have to remove a cotter pin, and then there's a bolt here and a bolt up through here. And we'll start by removing the cotter pin here. So this is the pin. You just grab hold of the side, pull it out, and then pull the pin out. You're gonna remove this lower ball joint nut. It's 17mm. Okay, just remove it that much for now. 19mm wrench. Put it on, then use a bigger, I'm using a 20mm wrench. Lock it in, give myself a little extra leverage. With that one loosened up, I'll loosen this one up. And again, it's a 19mm. Okay, now I'm just going to loosen these bolts up till they're about ready to come out. So we're going to try and break the ball joint free, and usually a few good hits from a good sized hammer do the job. Okay, so I'm free here. My bolts are ready to come out. Take that one out. Should be able to kind of move it around. Sometimes you might hit it a little bit, but line it up. So this bolt will come out. Okay. And then remove this nut the rest of the way. original part from the vehicle, and the rubber bushing in this one is pretty dried out and cracked. New part from 1A Auto, exactly the same. It's going to go in there, obviously brand new bushings, all the right mounting points, fix you up. Reinstall. Just put it kind of up into place. The ball joint on and just put your nut on. And then push it into place. Right, so make sure the front mount is going in, and then push the rear mount in. I'm just sticking my body against the rotor, lift up. And work your bolt in place. Okay, so we've got our ball joint and nut on. We've got the rear bolt in. So we just gotta get this one. I'm gonna try using a rubber mallet at first, just so we don't harm our new finish. And then once you get it in, work it so you can get the bolt in. You can take a long screwdriver and pull on it. Try and get it lined up so that the bolt will go right up in and through. Sometimes you'll have to push on it here to get the bolt all the way in. Now we're going to tighten up the 19mm bolts preliminarily. In order to hold the ball joint in place while you tighten it up, you'll want to use a jack. Lift the control arm up into place a little bit. Just tap the control arm. Get the knuckle to sit down in. They tighten this to 43 foot-pounds. Then try to put your pin in, if necessary. Tighten a little further to open up the hole. Yeah, you need to just tap it with the hammer. Okay, we want, in order to tighten the two 19mm bolts, you want to simulate ride position. So support the suspension. We've got it jacked up so that the weight's just off the lift. And we're going to torque these to 61 foot-pounds. I used a couple extra pounds since I had a flex joint on that one.
Reconnect your stabilizer link. Again, we sell new ones at 1aauto.com. Put the nut on and tighten it up.
It's easy enough to get a torque wrench on this one, but getting a torque wrench on the inner one is pretty difficult. Put your wheel back in place. Start your lug nuts. We'll tighten them preliminarily and then torque them when the vehicle is back down on the ground. Then tighten your lug nuts 80 foot-pounds and just cross in the pattern.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope this video helped you out. Next time you need parts for your car, please visit 1aauto.com. Also check out our other helpful how-to as well as diagnosis videos.